Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Before we start with this brief speech, I would like to ask you something. How many of you believe that human rights should be essential in everyone's life? All of us, right? But did you know that there is a high percentage of people who are victims of labor exploitation? In fact, 3 out of 1,000 people worldwide are in forced labor. Now, what if I tell you that some of the stuff we buy daily are products made by people who are under horrible circumstances, working all day long in poor working conditions, with no payment, limited food, sometimes not food at all, and without health insurance? And sometimes we are aware of that. Oh, yes, modern slavery exists. And some countries far away from ours. Or that's what we think. And did you know that one of the reasons why these big companies decide to do so is because they find it profitable? These labels have factories full of people who can only dream of a better life, of working for a company that complies with human rights. Most of them cannot even left their job, and some of them even died under these poor conditions they have to live in. And you know what's the worst part? That sometimes because of ignorance, we choose to purchase these products from these big and actually famous companies. And by doing so, we are technically participating of this atrocity. Modern slavery happens in a lot of forms, and sometimes we don't even realize that we could also be part of it, as I was mentioning before. These kinds of practices sometimes are not in the dark, and it's just that we are too blind to see it, or maybe because we decided to turn a blind eye. I'm going to give an example. I have to be honest with you. I don't think of myself as a fan of K-pop, but I think most of you know what it is, and I know myself what it is. But even if I'm not a fan, from the things that I have seen, there are tons of teenagers and adults who have gone under similar circumstances. And sometimes these people, they don't receive payment. They are forced to work for long periods of time. And I have seen in some cases which they are not given food. They have to live in a very little place in no perfect condition with a bunch of other people. There are cases of physical abuse, and the worst part is that they can't say anything about it because it would get them in trouble. They have signed what is known as a slave contract. It's basically where they need to work for that company up to 7 or 10 years, and basically the company is the one who takes control. And if they break one of the rules, or if they want to escape or get out of the group, they will have to pay an insane amount of money that, of course, they don't have. Because, as I was mentioning, they are they have to work in that place, and since the company is the one who controls everything, they cannot find another job. They cannot, for example, they cannot date, they cannot have a life apart from the one that the company provides. So they basically are forced to stay in order to pay their debt because they don't have the money to get out of that contract, like break the contract. So I don't know about you, but this also sounds to me as modern slavery. And of course, this does not happen in every company in the K-pop industry, but there are a lot of cases like this. So why isn't people doing anything about it? A lot of people are aware of the situation. For example, I am aware of the situation and I'm not even a fan. The government is aware of the situation, the people are, and now you are too. But why isn't anyone doing anything to change it? As I said before, this is not hidden. So, what can we do? First, if we are going to purchase a product, please inform yourself before about the company and the practices they do. Is it a good one? Is it famous because of its good practices? Is it fair in the way of work? Does it have fair trade? You know, some products have this tag, the fair trade tag, and it basically means if a product has this tag, basically means that that product is free from any sort of labor exploitation. Now, what else can we do? If you see any kind of labor, child exploitation, or any kind of slavery, do not stay quiet. If you see what they're doing and you decide to not speak about it, doesn't that make you participant? If you were in their position, wouldn't you want someone to speak up for you? It might seem like something little, but by informing other people of this, there could be a change. You're not only informing that people so that they don't fall into this trap, but you're also letting them know what it is and what they can do to change it. We can raise our voices so that the government takes action and reduce this big percentage until it drops to zero. If we all throw a drop of water, each one of us, we could create an ocean. You can make a change by informing yourself on what you're buying and informing others about the situation. Don't stay quiet about it. We can decide today to raise our voice for those who don't have one. Thank you. Now, if you have any question or any comment that you want to make, you can ask me and I will try to respond you as clear and as best as I can. Thank you.